Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. How are you? I'm going to let everybody take a moment to tune in. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. I had a really busy week, and today it was nice to kind of sleep in, take my time, make my coffee and my breakfast, and do some stuff around the house, and then kind of get myself together for the day. So anyways, I just wanted to speak to everybody because a lot of you have been following me. Many of you have been following me for a very long time and even watching my evolution over the last several years. And if you have, either you're connected to me at a local level, or maybe connected to me from my past, or maybe we've been connected somehow through social media. And the reason you keep tuning in is because what I do, what I say, and what I talk about resonates with you because you relate. And so for those of you that are new and just getting to know me, you know, my name is Angelique Renee, and my area of brilliance really is revitalizing femininity. It's pretty simple. I mean, I really do take a powerful stand for women embracing their essence. And so often that is given away when we confine ourselves to corporate constructs or this patriarchal or masculine framework of working. You know, whether you're in the corporate world or whether you're an entrepreneur and you're just a woman in business, we often find ourselves in a position where we hustle and we grind and you know, we're constantly meeting demands and we're pushing. And what ends up happening, quite frankly, is that we often end up putting our needs on the back burner. And my big question for you is, who were you before you got the title of either mother or wife, or even your title at work in your career? It's interesting because I recently was having a talk with a loved one that ended up taking retirement early, you know, was laid off from corporate America. And the subject came up that they were actually trying to figure out who they were because they had this job title for so many years that their personality and their identity was wrapped up in their job title, and now they're trying to figure out, who am I without this label, without this title? And so often when we get into corporate America, and I'm living proof of that, where I went in and you're always you're worrying about saying the wrong thing, commanding respect, you know, making sure that you dress conservatively so you don't attract the wrong kind of attention. Even for that matter, even recently on Facebook, I've even faced judgment and criticism for being too pretty or too, you know, it's kind of interesting because everybody has an opinion, right? And so we stuff ourselves into a box. And even that, for that matter, sometimes when you're a giver and you're a nurturer, you end up often giving away your power, giving away your voice, and you put everybody else's needs in front of your own. And how often can you look at, hi Sarah, how often can you look at your calendar and see what has been scheduled for work, what has been scheduled for family, and I ask you, what has been scheduled for you? You know, what time are you giving to yourself? And so piece by piece, we give away our identity and we forget who we once were. And I remember being in the corporate world and waking up one day just thinking to myself, who am I and how did I get here? Because I was young and I was so exhausted. And I missed my old self. I was sitting there, you know, I was 30 pounds overweight. I was dressing matronly. I had no energy. I was eating the wrong foods or even going to Food and Comfort. And I just remember sometimes waking up or looking in the mirror saying, I miss my old self. I miss being spontaneous. I miss being adventurous. And I had put my needs on the back burner so much that I wasn't even, you know, I was working hard. I was making really good money and I wasn't rewarding myself for all my hard work. And so I was stuck in this pattern of just constantly working and not really rewarding myself or having anything to show for it. And little by little, I started to hide. I started to hide behind my weight, behind my clothing, behind fat. You know, like I really was trying to protect myself from all the things that I was unhappy with, all the things that were out of alignment. And I had given up those small little rituals and that time of nurturing that put me in touch with my feminine essence and who I am as a woman. And I remember, growing up watching my grandmother. My grandmother, she looked very much like Elizabeth Taylor. And I remember sitting and watching her in her vanity and all of her rituals. And she unapologetically, she would never apologize for the amount of time that she took to get ready. And she was gorgeous and she was always well put together. And so often we adopt certain things, and I know so many people that are they're trying to do all the right things, and they end up creating a whole new task list of things to do, and it's not well integrated. And sometimes when they get caught up in all this doing, it becomes more cumbersome, more burdensome. And honestly, it shouldn't be that way. It should be simple. It should be easy. And if you feel like you're doing all the wrong things, or if you're just in a state of chaos and you don't know where to start, that's where you need guidance and support to help you see your blind spots, see what maybe the missing components are in order to reconnect you and get you back in touch. Because some people, their area of brilliance may be working in the corporate world, but working from a place of exhaustion and being depleted is completely different from being in touch with yourself. And I'll tell you, the corporate world needs more women that are balanced, grounded, and connected to be a beacon of light for those who aren't. Because if you're coming from a place of being connected with your divine feminine essence and you're able to be balanced and grounded, people are going to come to you and say, what are you doing? Because I need to be more like that. I want that, So it's not a matter of, upheaving your entire life and maybe completely redesigning it, but sometimes there's some things that you need to tweak. Some people, they lose their voice. Maybe they're in a relationship that doesn't serve them. Maybe they're just, I'll tell you, I tried every diet on the planet, and because my life was so tipped out of balance and out of alignment, I tried every diet and I couldn't get the weight off. And it wasn't until I took care of all the emotional baggage that then the weight fell off, and I've been able to keep it off for several years. And it's not to say that I'm super strict with my diet, but there were things that were causing my hormones to be out of balance. There's so much that we often don't address. But I will tell you, I'm really excited because I've had all of these creative ideas, and the reason that I'm an expert in this field is because if you are overworked, overwhelmed, overexhausted, reactive, living in a state of chaos, I was you just a few short years ago, and I navigated through it, and I personally know how it is, and I've had all these creative ideas on how to get women reconnected with their femininity and their essence and being able to operate from that place and space. And I don't want people to end up spending years trying to figure this stuff out and piece by piece reclaim themselves and reclaim who they are. Hi, Lily. Hi, Heidi. Because that's what happens is little by little, we give away these pieces of who we are. And do you ever look back and say, when I was a little girl, what did I want to be when I grow up? When I was a little girl, what brought me joy? What did I do for fun? What was I passionate about? And you look back, and do you know how many women have put aside their art, put aside their music, put aside the dancing and the singing and the things that brought them joy, because once they got to college, unless they were going to pursue it as a career, they just give it up, and then they end up in a place of simply working. And if they're not working, they're caretakers. They're taking care of their family, and they're taking care of everyone else, and they've got these busy agendas and busy schedules, and next thing you know, they don't remember what they eat. They're rushing out the door in the morning. They're trying to get out the door as quickly as possible, trying to get everyone everywhere on time, and their needs aren't being met. And when their needs aren't being met, usually what happens is that women will communicate from a place of exhaustion and frustration, that when it does come up with their partners and they do try to express their needs, it's from a place of frustration. And that's when the bickering and the arguing and, all of these things start, is because it's that chain reaction of reactivity. And so it's so important for us to take that time to get ourselves balanced and grounded. And that's why I've developed a system. 60 days of coaching. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Kelly. And so what's beautiful about this is it's a very rich program because I've learned so much over the last 10 years and beyond that, just because I did grow up in a long line of spiritual women. And even I was interested in herbal medicine back in high school. I've always been a student. And I've taken the most simplified tools that I've figured out that will work for any woman, anytime, anywhere. This is not stuff where you have to become a guru and go away and spend like 10 days at an ashram, trying to find yourself and become enlightened. This is stuff that people can use in their car, at their desk, in the bathroom, wherever, because most of us, and I'll use myself as an example. There was a time I was studying a particular healing modality, and I remember my teacher saying, you got to get up in the morning and sit on the end of the bed and meditate. And I go, oh, I lay in bed. And, that's when I kind of go through, and they're like, nope, you got to get up and sit on the end of the bed. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, right. This girl needs her beauty sleep. I'm not getting up before I have to sit on the end of my bed to try to meditate for 30 minutes because I'm better off getting my rest in bed. What little rest I'm getting, because at that time I was suffering a lot of sleepless nights. And like anything that's going to be complicated, I can't adopt, I'm not here to add more to somebody else's plate. But what I am here to do is to guide them on how to create rapid shifts in their world, anytime, anywhere, as quickly, simply, and easily as possible. So I've developed a program that's 60 days worth of coaching for supreme self-care. And in that, I'm going to be able to spend some one-on-one time, whether it's in person or virtually, designing a supreme self-care plan, an individualized plan for you as an individual that works for you. Because I could sit here and throw at you everything that I've ever learned, but I want to be tailored to your needs as a woman and what fits into your lifestyle, because we're all a little bit different. And some of us are already using certain tools, and so we may not need the same set of tools to fill the gaps that somebody else does. So not only that, you're going to have opportunities for group coaching, as well as an amazing bonus to be able to come spend a few days. If you're already in Orlando, great. If not, you can come spend a few days with me, come into my field of energy, and unplug yourself from your environment to finally make yourself a priority. And I'm going to spend several days really doing a deep dive. We're going to be doing a lot of healing work, a lot of energy work, a lot of grounding. And really at the end of the day, it's about reclaiming your bliss, reclaiming your peace and serenity, elevating your moods and your energy, as well as creating joy in your life, and being able to walk away present, grounded, connected. And so it's going to be a full VIP immersion experience for a few days here in Orlando. That is a bonus that's going to be included with my 60-day program, as well as coaching afterwards on a weekly basis, as well as in a group. And you're going to be in community with a sacred sisterhood. I only have room for a total of 4 women, and I am working on an application basis just because I am responsible for holding the energy in a sacred space for all the women that are involved, because this really is going to be a time to bond and connect. And you're going to walk away with accountability and community with your fellow sisters that relate and speak the same language as you do and totally understand what you're going through. But also you guys can bounce ideas and scenarios off of each other, and I'll be involved with that as well. So that way you don't have to feel like you're out on an island suffering alone. Because I will tell you, I know from personal experience, sometimes when you're going through these things, you're so afraid of failure, or you're afraid of other people's perceptions, that if things are not perfect, or if people really knew what was going on behind the scenes, that somehow that you're failing at life. And so often I find it common that women suffer in silence, whether it's going through divorce, infidelity, unhappiness in their career. And what they do is they internalize it, and they pack on weight, and they go to emotional eating, and and they hide, because of shame or embarrassment or guilt or whatever that may be. And the truth of the matter is, you're not alone. We all have these experiences. We all can relate. And there's no reason for us to suffer in silence. What we can do is support each other, share information, and really get ourselves reconnected to who we are as women. I have so many women that come through my door that I'll tell them, you need to take better care of yourself. And they say, I just don't know how. But they can take care of everyone else. Listen, sweetheart, you're a superstar. You're a freaking superhero, because if you've got a family with multiple children and everything else, and you're taking care of everybody else, but like, you have it within you, and it starts with you. Always put your oxygen mask on first before everybody else. Quite frankly, you're a badass, okay? Let's just say it. So you deserve to be treated as such, and it all starts with you. You got to treat yourself like the amazing interstellar superstar that you really are, in order for people to understand, because us walking around with our light dim, it doesn't serve everybody, especially if we're cranky and we're moody and we're reactive. And I'll tell you, I was talking recently with my daughter. My daughter's getting ready to turn 17 at the end of the month. And I asked her how she likes our life now compared to how it was several years ago. And her feedback to me was, Mom, I didn't know what you were going through, but I knew you had to work a lot. And you always seemed salty. So, for me to hear that from my daughter, because I didn't necessarily share with her all the things that I was going through, because you don't want children to carry adult burdens, whether it's financial issues, marital problems, career issues. You're not going to dump that on a kid. But for her to come back to me and say, Mom, I just remember you were tired all the time and you seemed salty, I was like, ooh. So even if you do your best to keep these things from your kids, they pick up on it energetically and emotionally. And so it's really important. And not only that, but our partners pick up on it too, because I'm sorry, when I was 30 pounds heavier, not only was I exhausted and just stressed out, like I was always on edge. Like I was that person that I was just always nervous and like, overwhelmed. And then, you go and you have your partner touch you and you're like, I didn't want somebody grabbing my love handles, or, like, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. You don't feel attractive all the time. And, and you're stressed out and you just want to go to bed. And that's no good for our love life, and we need that aspect of our lives and that kind of nurturing. You need that connection with your partner in order to be whole and complete. And that's why we have that in the first place. That's why we have partnership. So if that is also being placed on the back burner, that can be an issue, because, I look at life like an entire pie and there's all these pieces to the pie, but if there's pieces missing, then we're not whole and we're not complete and we're not as happy as we could be. So, I really love working with women one-on-one to kind of tailor and customize programs so that way we can talk through what it is that may be a missing component for them and how to shift that. And the ideal women that I work with are women that are going to be completely committed. If you're like me, I got to a point in my career and in my life to where I was like, I just can't live like this anymore. I'm too young to feel this old. I'm not enjoying my life. I had no joy. My light was dim. My energy was low. And so it's a matter of being committed, because I work with women and I want them to bring forth their challenges, but I definitely, I'm not, my program is not for somebody that wants to come and complain or to blame or to point fingers. It's a matter of coming and saying, here's my set of challenges and I'm ready to make this shift in my life. Can you guide me to create this shift? So I want women to share all of their challenges, all the nuts and bolts of what's going on, and, all that heavy stuff. We're not going to sweep that under the carpet, but I want them to come forth with the intention of creating shift and rapid change in their life, so that way they can come to a place of joy. They can embrace their essence. They can feel beautiful. They can feel happy. They can feel energetic. And each person's going to be a little bit different. You know, I've always been a woman that's always had her hair and her makeup done, but when I was emotionally eating and eating hormone impacting foods and I burnt out my adrenals because my career was out of alignment, my set of challenges may be different from somebody that is on her A game in her career, but yet doesn't know how to manage her stress or maybe take care of herself, from an external perspective, or maybe somebody else needs nutritional support. There's a lot of different things. We are multifaceted, multidimensional beings, but our feminine essence is to take the best possible care of ourselves. We are beautiful, we are wonderful, we are smarter. I'm just saying that. We are smarter. But we have to tap into our God-given gifts and operate from that place and space instead of just trying to fit a square peg into a round hole all the time and trying to step into that masculine framework. You know, there is a way to command presence, to command respect and everything as a woman without having to try to feel the need to just constantly butt heads with men or to compete with them or to prove themselves. I have so many women that are so well educated that they've got all of these degrees and education and all of this stuff, yet that's what they need for validation. And they are smart and they're beautiful and they're worthy and deserving of any job title or anything it is that they receive. And so it's a matter of getting to that place and space of just owning it. Just owning who you are, owning your essence, and knowing that you're worthy and deserving, and knowing that nobody can challenge you because you're amazing, right? You know, getting just another degree and going into more student loan debt doesn't do anything to prove how amazing you already are, you know? So, and I've been guilty of that, guys. I'm going out and getting so much knowledge and information and certifications and everything else, just always trying to prove myself. And what I found was every time that I would accomplish what I wanted and I would get to that next level in my life, I'd check it off the list and I'd be like, okay, now what, you know? So I just invite you, if anything that I speak about resonates with you, please contact me. I'm working on an application basis only. I'm only taking a few women on a 60-day journey. I'm inviting you on my journey. And what's exciting about this is only the beginning of the journey. I have so many amazing things planned over the next year and a half that each thing is going to be even more, it's going to be even more spiritual, more magical, deeper. You know, we always have to have a place to start, right? So what I want to do right now is really get women started on managing their stress and their moods and doing their lifestyle redesign as needed to take the best possible care of themselves and deep dive into supreme self-care and use that as a platform to spring from. So that way, when it's time for the next adventure and the next journey, we're going to take it a level deeper and a step deeper. And so it's going to be really exciting, but I invite you to reach out to me if you need help in any of those areas to reclaim your feminine essence, to really step out of chaos and reactivity into a state of bliss, serenity, and joy. I can help you with all of that. I've been through it myself. I speak from experience. I have so much wisdom to share with you. And so just reach out to me. You can personally message me or comment below. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. I'm going to continue to share piece by piece a little bit of information as we go along. And I would love to have you. And I'm filling up these spaces fast just because our bonus VIP immersion is going to be in the month of October, which is, the weather is going to be beautiful. And I'm so excited because I'm going to have so many gifts and guest healers and, so many amazing things available for you ladies. So definitely reach out to me. If you have questions, contact me. And if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay, share this with your friends, anybody that you know that's stressed, overwhelmed, overworked, overexhausted, go ahead and send them my direction. And give me a heads up. I'd love to love on them and welcome them and say hello and, bring them into our community. Just because it's about having like-minded sisters that we can all be in community with. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys and I look forward to hearing from you. You guys have a great weekend. Take care.